Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman making a splash in the transfer portal as they land the commitment from former FIU wide receiver Kris Mitchell out of the transfer portal. And this is a really nice get. And Kris Mitchell, a guy that we've talked about the last couple of days as one of the top wide receiver targets available in the transfer portal. Marcus Freeman, new coach, wide receiver coach Mike Brown, able to move quickly, efficiently, and land the commitment of, again, one of the more coveted wide receivers in the transfer portal, bolstering up a Notre Dame wide receiver core that needed some more talent, needed some more depth, needed some more experience. Kris Mitchell coming in and providing that in a massive way. Going to talk about Kris Mitchell, what he brings to this Notre Dame offense, and then talk about a few other targets that will be visiting Notre Dame. Really excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. There has been a ton of support as this transfer portal cycle has kicked off. Many of you guys know I love talking roster construction. I've followed a lot of these guys since they've been high school recruits. So all the support you guys have shown the boys, it means a lot. I love doing this. The reason I'm able to do it is all the support. So appreciate y'all. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And for the Notre Dame fans, I don't think it's the last time we're going to be talking about a transfer portal wide receiver committing to Notre Dame. Without further ado, let's get into Kris Mitchell. Taking a look at, starting off, the biggest question is making that jump from the group of five to Notre Dame. It's a big jump, but you look at what Kris Mitchell was able to do in his fourth year of college football in 2023, 64 catches, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns, and the number that Notre Dame fans probably will love the most to hear, 17.5 yards per catch. Notre Dame trying to find a little bit more explosiveness in this passing attack. Kris Mitchell is certainly going to provide that. And at the end of the day, you can't argue with that kind of production at FIU, a team that was not very good. And when good things were happening for this Notre Dame team, or for this FIU team, I should say, a lot of times the football was in Kris Mitchell's hands. He's a top 15 wide receiver, according to 24/7 Sports, that was available in the transfer portal. You lose Chris Tyree, you lose Rico Flores, you lose Tobias Merriweather to the transfer portal. Notre Dame, we kind of talked about it, needed some talent at that wide receiver position, and it's coming. And the best way to supplement young, talented wide receivers on this roster, guys like Jaden Greathouse, guys like Cam Williams coming into that 2024 class, is to go out and get an experienced wide receiver who's played at a high level on the college football field. And that is exactly what Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame did. And you take a look at what the offensive playmakers are going to look like for Notre Dame next year. Kris Mitchell getting added in, that's absolutely massive. You're going to have Jaden Greathouse. You're going to have Cam Williams as a true freshman. This wide receiving course, a wide receiving group that we were critical of the last 2 years. Even going back to last year, your two leading receivers were Mitchell Evans, who is a tight end who got banged up. Mitchell Evans is a stud, but I'm more kind of saying that a lot of the production wasn't coming from that wide receiver room. And then your other leading receiver was Chris Tyree, who was a transitioned running back to wide receiver. I think that kind of paints the picture that the wide receiver play for Notre Dame was just not good enough. And I think that's why they went out and got Mike Brown to coach the wide receivers. I think that's why they're going to the transfer portal, to inject some talent, some experience, some depth into this wide receiver room. You like the young talent that you have. You want to get some more proven guys who've done it at the college football level. Kris Mitchell, certainly one of those guys. Now, Kris Mitchell as a football player, I think the word I would use to describe him is polished. And this is a guy that can create separation, is a very, very clean route runner, can track the football down the field, has good straight line speed, but also is really good after the catch. 17.5 yards per catch, that didn't just come from air yards. This is a guy that can make people miss, is hard to bring down. You like to frame at 6'1". There's a lot to like about Kris Mitchell, but the thing you like most is just a proven production at the college football level. Kris Mitchell, I would very much encourage Notre Dame fans to go and check out the highlights of Kris Mitchell. One of the more fun wide receivers to watch. The ball skills are incredible. The body control, absolutely incredible. Want to get into a few more targets for Notre Dame at the wide receiver position that, again, is probably the biggest need for Notre Dame heading into next year outside the quarterback. Now, we know Notre Dame is going to be hosting Riley Leonard later this week, and we've talked about him, one of the top quarterbacks available in this transfer portal cycle. This is Riley Leonard as a quarterback is, I think the upside is, you haven't seen it yet. He's 6'4", 212 pounds, can extend the play, is a very physical runner. He's an absolute gamer, played on a sprained ankle for a majority of Duke's season. Tough as nails, kind of exactly what you want in that quarterback position for Notre Dame. And a guy that I don't think has necessarily reached his potential as a pocket passer either. And if you can get that out of Riley Leonard and get him to reach that highest potential, this is a quarterback that's going to win a lot of games for Notre Dame next year if he does so choose to commit to Notre Dame. Now, part of getting that potential out of Riley Leonard is giving him the weapons on the outside to do so. Notre Dame going after some more court or wide receivers in this transfer portal. The next guy I want to talk about, who's expected to visit Notre Dame, I believe this weekend, Josh Kelly from Washington State. And this is a guy that Josh Kelly's juice is kind of next level. There's a reason he's a top 30 guy in the transfer portal, a top 10 wide receiver available in the transfer portal, according to 24/7 Sports. 61 catches, 923 yards, 8 touchdowns. Was Cam Ward's go-to guy within that Washington State offense. And I watched a lot of Pac-12 this year. Josh Kelly and the juice that he has when he has the football in his hands, it's kind of next level. And that's kind of what you want for Notre Dame. When you're looking to have an explosive passing attack, yes, you can push the ball down to that deeper through the air, but you also can find guys in space and get the football to your playmakers in space and let them go after the catch as well. That's where Josh Kelly really does excel. And so you look at this Notre Dame offense and you want to supplement the young talent with some veteran wide receivers who are proven at the college football level. Josh Kelly, coming off of a massive year for Washington State where he caught 61 passes, 923 yards, would be a massive target for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And the last guy I want to talk about that really does excite me because he's a guy that I followed since he's been out of high school, Bo Collins. Went to St. John Bosco, committed to Clemson. We all know about this Clemson offense. It was dreadful the last couple of years. And I kept watching Bo Collins and said, this guy has so much capability and is just in a Clemson offense that was not utilizing him. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, extremely imposing on the boundary. We talked about Kris Mitchell and Josh Kelly as guys that are more spacey guys that want to create separation and create after the catch. Bo Collins is one of those players that you want to attack the deeper third and go throw some jump balls, some 50-50 balls. They're not 50-50 balls for Bo Collins. A pretty productive year or 3 years at Clemson, 91 catches for over 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. He's good in the red zone. And again, those numbers are not necessarily eye-popping for 3 years. That being said, he was in an offense that just really could not throw the football through the air very efficiently. It was a very bland, very boring offense. Bo Collins with the change of scenery, I think could be very exciting for Notre Dame. So you take a look at this Notre Dame offense heading into 2024 with the potential of landing Riley Leonard. Now you have one of the more coveted wide receivers locked in Kris Mitchell from FIU, potentially Josh Kelly and Bo Collins. And again, you have a lot of young talent on this roster as well. Jaden Greathouse, I think, will be a massive contributor over the next couple of years for Notre Dame. Cam Williams probably comes in as a freshman and makes an impact. You have Jeremiah Love and a host of other running backs in the backfield. We wanted to see Notre Dame attack the transfer portal and attack the wide receiver position in the transfer portal. We wish they would have done it last year. They tried with Caleb Smith, obviously with the injury, couldn't play. It's nice to see Notre Dame getting aggressive, getting some wide receivers. So whoever's starting at quarterback next year, they're going to have some talent to work with. We'll be monitoring Josh Kelly, monitoring Bo Collins, but very happy to see Notre Dame getting active, landing some wide receivers. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys, Notre Dame fans. I think we're going to be talking a lot of Notre Dame football the next couple of weeks in the transfer portal. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate all the support, and we'll talk to y'all later.